7:06, Town of Granby Conservation Commission for April 23rd, 2019. 7 o'clock, we'll start with the Building and Board of Health applications. Seeing no one in the audience for a Building and Board of Health permits, we'll move on to the administrative duties at commentary. Any commentary? None?
Spring is sprung.
That's right.
Salamanders, I think, migrated.
Skunk cabbage is out.
I got wood frogs and everything out.
I've been hearing them
Yeah.
run past wetlands.
Keeps me up at night. They're very
Oh, I
loud.
love it.
Post the next meeting. Our next meeting is when?
May 14th?
May 14th.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
May 14th at Carnegie Library, 1 Library Lane, 7 o'clock. We do not have the minutes. Waiting on
Look
that.
where it says the meeting is. Where's that?
No, that's just coming from
Where it's coming from?
Kathy's office. Bills to pay? Do we have any bills over there?
Don't think so. Check. It would be in the Kathy folder. I looked through here. I didn't see any.
No, the Kathy folder is the stuff we give to her.
Yeah, first cutting plans, next meeting, hearing information, and this is from September.
If you want to pull that out, we can make sure we'll go through, because we're coming up on ZBAs and planning board stuff, notices.
The only thing I found was these two things. It was showing Amanda.
Sure.
Let's see.
Let's let me move down one.
This is the agenda.
There's Bill. Come on in, Bill. The camera's rolling. Alex had to leave.
You guys are having a virtual meeting.
That's
Yeah.
correct. Camera's running right now, so if you want to come in, grab a seat. We opened the public hearing at 7:06. Building and Board of Health permits, no one was here for that, so
Is anyone coming tonight?
not that we're aware of, but we'll continue on with, there's Mike Pio coming in at 7:45 about the land donation for Munson. I thought we discussed that last meeting.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think he's coming.
Donnie Frederick.
Yes.
Yeah, who knows? He sent me an email, I haven't talked to Fowler yet. Because I have to blocks out about 2 hours of time.
We're here till 8 o'clock at least, and then we'll be,
Oh, yeah, I'd like to go in already also.
Bill, do you have the
I don't know why
minutes?
this is in next meeting.
You don't, okay, that's
I
fine.
don't keep minutes anymore, until we get an assistant. We're not gonna-
That's from
we don't know.
September.
It is.
So far, I have not
You
found
guys
it.
don't have, Amanda, you don't have minutes, do you?
No.
Wendy, you didn't take the minutes, did you?
No.
I've been
This is
writing
for his
notes,
cutting
but I
plan.
Yeah, again, we need an assistant to take minutes. As soon as we get an assistant, we'll have minutes.
This is January 2nd. This one's for, this is Forge Pond.
It's all set. We've already read those in February.
This is all Forge Pond stuff.
Oh, you opened the Forge Pond folder.
Yeah,
That was just supposed to be put away. I think that's why it's in there.
so, correspondence, Town of Granby open space plan. 8 PM appointment canceled.
Is that Cynthia?
I think that's from way back when.
Cynthia
Did
Butler.
Patty call? Did she call?
Is there a date on
I'll
this?
take a look at that.
That's January 7th. And this
It's
is,
January 7th.
This is Kearsarge Solar. Well, this is that violation. I
There
don't
was a-
see anything.
There was an email,
Solar was 229 East Street, right?
there was an email sent.
339.
Oh,
This is signed 11/23/18, so this is a little old. So,
I take we have no bills to pay at this point?
Yeah, I was looking for stuff, I don't see anything.
Regarding this, I talked to Cynthia, this is dated January 7th.
Correct.
And I talked to Cynthia, and she's working on the Water Chestnut program. Do you guys have time to work with her on Water Chestnut?
I thought she was retiring. And
She is, but she kind of needs someone to help administer the Forge Pond group to do that.
Gotcha.
No, you guys wouldn't be pulling plants or anything, you'd just be
I mean, I wouldn't.
kind of directing the crew over there. Because I think they're doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Should I have her get a hold of you, Amanda, by email?
Yeah, I think there was a thing in the email.
It's Cynthia Butner.
Yeah, I think she said June, oh no. There'll be a meeting April 24th. Oh, tomorrow.
Oh.
Okay. So it's a volunteer event. So I can see if I can go to that.
Yeah, it'd be great if you
Tomorrow?
could, thank you.
Yeah.
What time?
Tomorrow's Earth Day, and I know there's a thing in.
When was Earth Day? Monday?
No, it's tomorrow,
Oh, it is
because I
tomorrow.
think there's a big thing on the Amherst Common,
Oh.
10 to 2. So how can families or anything go to it?
We should have had it when school week was
You're
off.
independently wealthy, you don't have to work, I guess. They had a couple of good programs on PBS this morning, Earth Day related. One on woodpeckers, another one on the alligator gar.
Oh, yeah,
Which
that's
is a really
interesting.
neat fish.
Yeah, it is.
Up in the panhandle of Florida, it's a really neat fish. Looks prehistoric.
Financial accounts, nothing? Nothing in the,
Did we sign off to pay Berkshire Engineering last time?
I wasn't part of that
I
discussion.
think we signed that.
And
didn't
then
we?
I was
Berkshire
thinking about
Engineering.
it, I think authorized for me to get reimbursed for that book.
There
Yes.
was a check in here somewhere a long time ago.
Oh, the new hydrosoil book.
Yeah,
It's like $20 or something.
25. You said there was a
There
check?
was a check in the financial something.
We'll go through it, we'll find it.
All right,
If it's
I
there,
never
it's
saw
there.
it.
Actually, take a look at.
You were away at the time.
Okay, so who knows where he went?
Take
Well,
a-
it stayed in
Yes.
here.
Take a
Yeah,
look in
well,
the
it's not-
payment
I just
folder,
went in
please,
there.
to see
Just went through that whole
if
thing.
we paid Berkshire Engineering.
There's nothing here that tells
We
us
owe like
anything.
$3,000, $3,300.
Was
There's
there a
nothing.
motion made?
Oh, yeah, we signed it, but I want to just make sure it was executed.
I don't know.
Can you look in there, please?
I just went through the whole folder, there's nothing in there.
Okay. So that's the to be paid folder?
No, that's just a folder.
What's that? Is that?
This is that other, the next meeting
Oh.
stuff.
So we don't have any.
Do we have a folder for that project?
Which
For that-
project?
The one Bill's
That was
talking
Red
about?
Rock Solar.
Oh,
Yeah, we do have a couple folders.
I remember we signed a slip, and I think David, what's his name? Turcott picked it up.
All right, so we need
He
to
picks it
send
up from the
Kathy a
back.
sticky note as to what
He comes
happened
over
to that
and
check?
Picks up the stuff.
it's gotta be in here somewhere.
Okay.
I'm 99% sure
I'm
we
just trying to
signed
figure
it,
out what
but I
they're
just want to make
talking
sure it was
about. I don't know.
executed.
Oh, because they had to set up an escrow account, so they're
Yes,
supposed to get their money
yes.
back.
I know, I just don't remember any of the stuff.
Because after that's paid, then I gotta send a letter to Natalie to release the money back to Mr. Nawaki.
I think we discussed it and authorized it, and we
I
signed
believe we
something
did,
to
yeah. I just
pay
wanted to
them.
make sure it was done. Yeah, I think Grise is all taken care of.
Sure.
I talked to Jeff today, he called me.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Financial account updates, I don't think, is there anything in there,
I don't think
Linda?
we could even find anything in here. Well, Linda went through the whole thing. I'm just reviewing what she already
Well,
went
see,
through.
we need to hire Amanda as an assistant so she can come in here on the weekends and organize.
Organize all of her life, yeah.
Yeah, this place is a complete disaster.
I know. Yeah, I don't.
Do you want to type up a quick letter to Kathy? Saying that we have an invoice from Berkshire Design, obviously. So
Yeah, let me just, I'll send
remit
it.
payment to Berkshire Design from that escrow
It's
account.
actually Berkshire Engineering.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not Mark least we got internet tonight.
Just the minutes from last week. With the meeting stuff. I don't understand where these folders are though. We have more folders.
Hey, when you guys send Kathy Leonard an email, do you send it to kathyl@granbyma.org or cleonard@granby-ma.gov? Or both?
It's the last
Sweet
one.
Leonard at granby-ma.gov.
So we should send her
I
a
use
note
whatever one she
that
uses.
I
I,
usually send it to both of them.
so we should send her a note that
Well, I'm
I didn't
sending
get the check,
I'm sending it right now.
Okay.
It's going right now.
and they need to
Anything
do a
else for her?
stop payment on that check and
Yeah.
reissue one or something.
So those are two bills to pay. The soil, was that soil texture book?
Yes. I'm
Soil,
pretty sure I brought in the copy of the invoice and everything, and we signed
did.
off on
You
it.
did, there was an envelope with the check in.
So you haven't been paid yet?
Nope. Supposedly there was a check here somewhere.
All right, well, I'm gonna ask her as well in this same email about your payment too, okay? Whenabouts was that?
While ago,
Okay, also
maybe February.
reimbursement. How much, Wenda?
25, I think. I don't know.
You got a
You
second
could
one
say
from me
some,
that I was gonna buy from you. Didn't you get two?
yeah, I got one for me and one for the group.
Oh, I thought you.
Or him, or Bill. I got one for conservation
Okay.
and one for me. I brought it in. I don't know who ended up.
I have it right now.
You have it,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
I think all Casey's books ended up at the Belchertown book sale.
Oh.
You're kidding, you're kidding.
Because I saw all kinds of soils books and different things that
makes me
looked
so
like they would
upset.
be hers.
They should have just donated them to the commission.
I know,
Oh, that's terrible.
yeah, yep. I was looking through and I'm like, this is something Casey would have had. Like, saw a lot
What
of
did they want
things.
for 'em, like a buck or something? You should have just bought them all.
Well, I looked to see if there was anything useful, but,
Oh,
you know, this hydric soils in New England,
yeah,
version 4, I couldn't remember if 4 is the current one or the old one. And
yeah. Well, I got the big, we all have the big one, the big folder one that Veneman and Tyner did. And this new one, I think Mickey, what's her name? Mickey Spokus did this new one.
Huh.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's new in your world?
same
What-
old, same
Do you
old.
want to work on these enforcement orders?
Well,
You want to
keep,
do Colette?
let's keep moving through on these
Yeah.
administrative duties.
We'll talk about it.
Letter from treasurer, still on there. I'm not sure what item 6 is, letter from treasurer.
I've sent that. That's
Okay,
done.
they keep adding it to the agenda. Item 7, approve renewal of 2018, 2019 gravel permits.
I thought that they had said they were gonna do it if we didn't do it by a certain date.
Kathy,
That's what they said.
We finished last year's, we're actually on the next cycle now, believe it or not. So we gotta go out there once
And do
again.
the 2010 one.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're going out there again.
2019, 2020.
Yeah. So whenever you guys wanna do it.
Okay.
Outreach Education Event of the Week, MACC Conference. Who went to that?
I had gone to that.
Amanda
That was,
went.
like,
You were the only
that was
one?
months ago.
Okay, it's still on the agenda.
Yeah.
Cross that out. ZBA's notices. Do we have anything from the zoning board and
No.
nothing to read in?
Well, what's that packet there? I don't know
Actually,
what's
there is a
That big
couple of
project.
ZBA things coming up.
that? A new project?
Oh,
No, I think this was that one on Near New Friends.
folks, tonight the Bow and Gun Club have a hearing tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that.
They're there now. That's where
Yeah.
Alex is.
And the building inspector told me they're gonna have police presence, gonna expect some trouble down there.
Well, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
Alex is down there right now, so no notices, ZBAs. News and announcements.
I got us a printer that has a scanner. It's free.
Thank
I got
you.
it for free.
Oh, you got one? Oh, I got one. I gave one to the commission as well, so we have 2 of them now.
Oh, great.
But you know the problem? It costs about $150 to put the ink cartridges in them. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
That's why you go with toner based.
Yeah.
Site visits to be scheduled, we'll go back to item 11.
No, hold on. We have corner of South and East Street. Amanda and I are going at least on Saturday morning at 9. Heather Comey, that goofy lot.
Sure.
Wenda, can you go to drill some holes for us, or Amanda can go?
I was planning on leaving Thursday night for Vermont.
You are? Okay. You got your hand auger, or you want me to bring mine?
Both. Mine's more of a clay auger.
Okay, I'll bring mine.
So, I mean, it works, but it's
Yeah.
not as,
I actually have 2 of them now. I'll bring mine. Okay, so we'll be at the corner of East and South
All right.
Saturday morning with Heather. Good?
Is that part of the RDA
Yeah,
that's filed?
yeah.
They filed a RDA?
It's been filed and we delayed it based on
Weather.
soil
So
conditions.
you may have to go down 3-4 feet to hit
Oh,
that
yes,
well.
oh, yes. That's why I'll bring the big hand auger. We go down 9 feet with the big one. Yeah, I got a big
Are
one.
we still being requested to lock in the wetland boundaries?
I don't think Heather asked that. Actually,
think
that's a
she
good
did.
point. Did she? I think
She did, and we had talked to her about that. Typically, we don't do that. If we
Right.
do, we usually hire a peer review at
Right,
that
that's
point.
right, that's right. Well, maybe we should stick to our guns, say.
Well, you
Yeah.
could talk to her about it on Saturday.
Yeah, do an ANRAD or hire a peer reviewer.
project? For the same project that we were just?
Yes,
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think the critical thing is, if the wetlands are as she depicted, then the house and the leach field will be sufficiently offset from any other structures. For some reason, if the wetland's up the hill, say 30 or 40 feet, that might cause a problem with that lot. But we know the lot is a filled lot. It's been filled for a long time.
Sure, okay.
Okay,
All right, so you guys
I'll
have that.
I'll reiterate that Saturday morning.
7:23, so, continue on with old business, certificate of compliance for Children's First, same action continued till, we go past the, how many growing seasons? 2? We need 3, but I think they're
seasons.
not even on 2 at this point, so that's continued.
It could be, this could be 3 this
This
year.
could be the 3rd year?
Maybe.
Okay, if it is, then they can come in at that point, we
Yeah.
can do it
but
then.
Then we have to go look and.
Exactly.
Last I looked, it
Oh,
wasn't.
and Jeff Marion came in for a
Building permit?
building permit for his last building on the storage shed.
Sure, that was last
Yeah,
meeting.
but he also needs a certificate of compliance from the de-weeding
Sure.
the detention basin, but he's outside of his 3-year window, so he's subject to the $200 fee, you see?
I think you guys had talked to him about that
Yeah,
earlier.
right, we talked to him. Were you here last time?
Yeah, I can't
We did
remember
talk
what we
about it.
end up,
Yeah, we
He's-
told Jeff, I guess he has not cleaned all the invasive.
He was going to fill out the proper form,
Right.
submit it to Kathy for a certificate of compliance, and then
Right.
we would go out and inspect. And I think he had said there were some few minor things he had to do to address that. And so as soon as we get the application,
Yeah, we can act on it.
we'll act on it.
That's great.
We've continuing on old business, 7 Phillips Circle complaint. Are we doing anything on that, or is that just going
I
to?
go by there every couple of weeks. The wetland call that Weiss made was actually pretty good. It is wet right up to the flag line. I do recommend they put in some hard markers. I know you guys don't like summer.
so we
too.
do we need to issue an enforcement order with conditions?
Or is the act of not maintaining that area from that mark into the
Well,
wetland?
that's kind of the goal is to have that area not maintained, but it's easy to keep creeping.
Right.
That's
you know.
right. If you put hard markers in, he's less likely to try to cheat. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, so having him come in and doing some sort of formal, this is the
And
line.
hopefully the stakes are still there.
Yeah, and again, we'll talk to him. We'll just have a chit chat with Nick, say, please do this, and if he says, yes, I'll do it, and he does it, everything's done. If he doesn't do it, we'll issue an EO.
Do we want him to take the rhododendrons out of the wetland?
It's up to you guys, whatever you want.
I mean, I feel like that's gonna end up causing more.
Yeah, my thought is whatever.
I'd rather just
Let's
leave
just
it all.
leave That's right. Leave
All right.
And if it doesn't do well with wet
Leave it
soils,
be.
then it will die
Yeah.
and other things will replace it.
That's
Yeah.
right. Let it be.
Okay.
Okay.
So, do you want to call Mr. Weiss, or do you want to talk to Mr.
I'll talk to Nick.
Mr. Bernier?
Because Weiss will charge him X amount of dollars just to make a phone call.
Okay, and, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll
And
talk
we can be
about,
flexible on the type of markers we use.
Yeah.
Like we had that one project that used bluebird boxes
Yeah.
on poles. Like
that would be,
it doesn't have to be something big and ugly. It can be,
right,
you know, something that appeals to him.
that's,
So I'm hoping that a conversation will make that easier.
that's a good idea, yeah, bluebird boxes,
Yeah.
yeah. 98 Cold Hill,
Which side of that is it on when you
On-
go up from the four-way stop?
the right side. Just before Cold Hill Drive. It's Cold Hill Road, and there's Cold Hill Drive.
So what's going on the left side?
Well, that's another project.
It's
That,
going through the wetland.
that was before us a long time ago, a few years back.
Okay.
That was,
Because it looks like they started something and never finished, did anything.
Correct.
Okay.
there was a driveway that was going back there. They started, and I think there was an RDA from Mr. Pete Labar?
Levesque?
No, Labar.
What's his name?
Peter,
Oh, okay, La Barbara.
Barbara.
Okay.
There was a pipe, I think, or something like that. But anyways, that was an RDA, I think, a few years back that
Okay.
was approved.
No, Colette cut a bunch of trees.
Now the
And
other,
his driveway,
Yeah, you gotta remember
and he's
one-
using that
You gotta
driveway
remember
now.
for one thing, he still has a order of conditions that called for this 11-foot span bridge.
Yeah.
That's still on the books.
I understand that,
Yeah,
right.
so at some point, he's gonna wanna close that out, and he's not gonna do that, so.
Yeah, because he's not using that road.
He
He
was-
put using a different road through
Okay,
the wetland, I think.
let's not really talk, I guess,
So we'll have
if you
to,
wanna bring Mr. Collette in,
Yeah, I'll send him an email.
if we're doing these enforcement orders,
Let me
we
send him
really
an
need to
email
just
right now.
do it and have him
right, we
come
need to
in.
get it done, yeah.
I'll send Dave Cullen an email.
I thought you emailed him last time. You said
I
you
did, I
emailed
sent
him a
him
couple
an email
times.
last time, and he didn't get back to me.
All right, so let's make a note to ourselves that
Maybe we need to do an official
if this,
enforcement order.
if this doesn't get a response, we'll do an official
Yeah,
enforcement order with DEP.
Yeah, Dave, please call me.
The other thing too is on that subdivision there, the Cold Hill subdivision where there's like 5 or 6 lots that were subdivided, and the Colette lot was one of them, and there's a huge wetland body in front.
Right.
You guys were here last meeting, someone came in talking about getting a building permit. We really couldn't tell them whether or not, without formally filing with us, what course of action.
Yeah.
But I think we talked about last time, the bite of the apple. It's one property, you're allowed
Yep.
so many square feet of filling. Each lot's not granted 5,000 square feet because they subdivided it, it's the
Right.
entire parcel before the subdivision. So maybe this is something we should sit down and talk to planning board and say, look, this type of subdivision, you can't do that. Granted, you have the frontage and area, but to get to your uplands, you've gotta cross all these wetlands.
Yep.
Yeah.
And either you're gonna file
Well,
under
the other
subdivision
properties
control
are
law,
so full, I don't think they could even accommodate both. Like,
the
they
other
probably-
wetlands, yeah,
Did they receive a signed off A&R
they
plan?
did. Because it meets the frontage and area requirements, but the access to the uplands is through the wetlands. And,
So we have to figure out how much disturbance happened with Colette.
and that's taken off the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you keep deducting that off till you
And I
hit
think
your,
there's another one that went in
What do you
too,
mean?
right?
So that ate up the 10% rule. That's
well,
what
you're looking at what, after 5,000 square feet, it's a limited project.
Well, you know what they're gonna argue? They're gonna argue that they're subject to limited project, which they're not, because again, they subdivided after the fact.
Right.
So they're not allowed to do a limited project. Normally, a limited project, you could put the road right through the wetland without any issues.
Well, yeah, but that's one bite of the apple.
That's right.
And then
That's
it's
right.
done.
That's
And
right.
there's 2 driveways that have gone on through
Alright.
that wetland, right?
I don't know
Yes,
too.
the one with the minimal impact is
This
the
actually might be
permanent
an
one.
interesting court case.
And
This
then
might end up in
his-
court. It's interesting.
Could be. So I think we should need to have a discussion with the planning board about
Why
frontage
should
and
we discuss
access,
it with the planning board? They have no
Because they-
jurisdiction over it.
because it would be considered illusory frontage. And if you don't have, you can't sign an A&R plan if your frontage is coming through a cliff or something, or drop off, because you have no access to your uplands. It's the same thing on
Yeah,
Carver
but-
Street, you have all
but
those
they're
lots
gonna-
on Carver,
They look at their regulations very black and white.
that's a state thing, though, it's not,
Yeah, but the planning board has no responsibility to know whether or not a lot is accessible, physically accessible.
there's a statement on each A&R plan that the planning board endorses that says there's no determination of buildability of any lot
Okay.
shown
All right.
here on this plan.
So that gets them.
That's their
fine.
right.
So that's
So,
okay.
yeah.
So if we deem the lot unbuildable, it's unbuildable,
Exactly.
so it's fine.
But I'm just saying, if these guys filed under subdivision control law initially, they would have been in a better position
Oh,
to
yeah.
develop that upland than they are now. So, but anyways,
Yeah,
732,
they would have come in from the cul-de-sac from
Correct.
Romulus.
yeah, you put your one road in and you're coming into your uplands. 730, continuation notice filed by CPV Red Rock Solar LLC. I'm going to say that this has been closed out. You guys made a decision last week. Strike
And
that.
signed the order of conditions.
Signed, sealed, and delivered.
Sure, so that should not be on there for next meeting, please. So that is stricken. 730, continuation of an RDA filed by Department of Conservation and Recreation. See whether the work depicted on plans referenced is subject to the Wetlands Protection Act with regards to property located on Green Meadow Lane in the town of Granby. I have not heard anything from DCR or anybody with respect to that project, so I'm gonna make a motion to
My
continue.
guess is they lost funding. They probably lost the money.
Should we reach out and ask them if it wants to remove it from the agenda?
Do you have?
They paid, I'm sure they paid for the RDA.
Do you have these folks' emails, the people that were the petitioners? You don't know who they were, do you?
I do not. I mean, they have not asked formally for a continuation
like a year,
in quite some time.
yeah.
So
I think
can
we should need to
Close it for lack of
You can.
information?
You wanna just deny it, vote to deny?
Well, I
They can-
don't,
they
I think we
always
can close it.
Hey, they can resubmit and pay us another $50 or whatever, and we can.
Sure.
go ahead again.
I don't know if we can reach out to them and just ask them if he wants to close it, and they can refile whenever.
They didn't file any fee, the state doesn't file.
I think they did.
So
Did they really?
RDA,
There's advertisement. For sure there's advertisement on that side of the
Because their
RDA.
new fee schedule will kick in. What would you guys wanna do?
I'd just reach out, if we could reach out to them. I don't know if, Amanda, if you can,
I just have no idea who
I have
it
no idea.
was.
maybe you could ask Kathy to reach out to
Yeah, if
them,
you wanna send Kathy an email, man, that'd be good.
Okay.
see what the status of their project is, if they want us to strike
But
it.
like you say, though, like, there's a lot of dead wood on this
Yeah,
sheet that we gotta clear up.
we could be out of here in
Yeah.
half an hour. So,
Okay.
7:30, so those are the two RDAs, or notice of intents and RDAs for 7:30. 7:45 is 10 minutes away. 8 o'clock, we have a discussion with Cynthia Botner regarding the water chestnut program at Forge Pond. And I don't know if
Are
she's,
you guys here for that?
Yeah.
The water chestnut, good.
do you know if she's coming,
I don't think
Cynthia?
Cynthia's coming.
She will
Oh, is
be.
she coming?
She sent us emails saying that she'd be here tonight.
Oh, good, okay,
awesome.
that's good, wonderful, wonderful. Because I know she's working on her own time, because she's retired now. So.
Right.
We were actually talking before you guys came in, maybe Amanda and Wenda can help coordinate your group. How many people do you have
You don't
that
need
will
this.
actually provide physical labor
That's,
for that?
put that away in the folder.
Last year, what is
What is that stuff there?
This is the Kendall Solar Project near Dufrane's.
Good.
is that the one with Evelyn that they withdrew?
Oh, that's the Hatch, that's Zero
Hatch.
Kendall Street project.
Yeah.
Did that get withdrawn or something?
That's my understanding, because they needed supermajority, did not get approved at planning board.
Kendall Street, sir?
Yeah, they needed supermajority.
So what do we do with this? Do we just,
Just the whole, put it in advance, hold it in advance.
I'm gonna mark it received.
Yeah, we're not gonna review it this time. And certainly that's gonna go out for peer review.
Is there an actual
So
form
we have to
for
get
So
escrow money.
I'm gonna put this under,
Yeah.
notices and ZBAs and planning board. So I'm just gonna read this in real quick. I've got a, looks like a site plan for a special permit application, letter dated March 11th, 2019, from Borrego Solar, 55 Technology Drive, Suite 102, Lowell, Mass. And this is with respect to the solar project on Kendall Street near Dufresne's Park.
Up on the ridge.
Yeah, just want to make sure what they're sending us. Letter dated March 11, 2019, to address to Mr. Glenn Saxton, Chairman, Granby Planning Board, 10B West Straight Street, Route 202, Granby, Mass, regarding site plan review and special permit application for a 6,825.6 kilowatt DC ground-mounted PV photovoltaic facility, 0 Kendall Street, Granby, Mass. Dear Mr. Sexton, enclosed are the following additional items or revised items for your use and review of our application for site plan review and special permit, 0 Kendall Street, 2 copies, technical specifications for new module sections, 7 24 by 36 copies of 0 Kendall Street, Granby site use plan for sheets 2 revised sheets dated March 11, 2019, 2 full copies of 24 by 36 copies of the 0 Kendall Street, Granby site plan use sheets dated January 8, 2019, with 2 revised sheets dated March 11, 2019. So I'm assuming that the planning board sent this to us as a courtesy. I'll mark it received. Today is the 23rd.
Do we know if there's any wetlands?
I think there was a little section that looked like it was isolated, and they have to come before us for a building permit at minimum, so at that point,
There's an interesting dilemma there. This is the dilemma where they've got an upgradient stormwater issue, but again, it's far enough away from the wetlands where the planning board will use their technical consultant to review the stormwater, and we probably won't have the opportunity to review the stormwater.
correct.
Oh, has anybody noticed where, the Christmas tree farm is
Yes,
up here on 202, all the flooding?
and a lot of rain.
And it's not a frozen ground situation. That is definitely isolated land subject to flooding, that area. Because,
Remember we had that big brouhaha
yeah,
5 years ago about
and you
that?
said, no, it's because of the ice.
That was Bogdanovich.
It's the landscaping guy there.
That's right.
It's definitely an isolated land subject to flooding. If you look at that area, no matter
But
what.
I think there were some technical reasons why LeMay argued that that was not the case because it didn't meet the 10,000 cubic foot.
Yeah, we'll look
He's-
at this
he's-
right now.
Anyway.
He's not as
Yeah.
elected, okay.
In the future,
All right, I've got also here, this is under ZBAs and planning board notices. I've got a letter here, return receipt requested from Eversource to the town of Granby Conservation Commission. Letter is postmarked March 18th, 2019. Letter from Eversource, certified mail return receipt requested. Dear Municipal, this letter is dated March 15th, 2019. Dear Municipal Official, this letter is to inform you that Eversource Energy, Western Mass, intends to selectively apply herbicides along the power line right-of-ways that pass through your municipality. The treatment is conducted as a component of an integrated vegetation management program that uses the appropriate mechanical and/or herbicide treatments to control vegetation to encourage the growth and health healthy, early successional ecological communities that benefit wildlife while allowing the safe delivery of electricity to our customers. Again, it goes on to talk about the CMRs, 333, CMR 11.06-11.07. This is, I guess, a vegetation management plan, VMP.
Called Roundup.
Yes. So,
No, they're usually pretty good
Yeah.
in those systems.
and
Because they
we,
do it on such a big scale, they have to be
They
very
have
controlled.
licensed applicators, don't they?
oh, I'm sure, yeah, it's all regulated, so.
And they tend
So,
to use it on like specific problem plants, and you can see where they used it, because that little spot will
Good,
be
so
dead.
they don't broadcast like.
Not the way I've seen it, it's
So,
usually very
here's a
specific.
letter
And they cut and, inject too.
Yeah.
along with the, there's an enclosure with this letter from Eversource from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Energy and Environmental Affairs Department of Agricultural Resources dated March 5th, 2019, from Mr. William Hayes, Supervisor, or to Mr. William Hayes, Supervisor, Energy, Eversource Energy. Dear Mr. Hayes, pursuant to 333 CMR 11.05 subsection 4, this shall serve as notice of approval of the Eversource Western Massachusetts VMP as modified. The approval is given by attending members of the right-of-way advisory panel. Copies of the approved VMP should be mailed to the chief elected official, Board of Health, and Conservation Commission of each municipality covered by the plan. So, mark this received and read. Checking the date. So, I don't know if there's a folder for Eversource, if we need to put that in there, but it's red.
So the poison ivy's starting to split up.
Oh, my sister-in-law is covered with it.
It's like really, the interesting thing about poison ivy right now, it hasn't leafed out, but man, those toxins are fresh and they're potent.
There you go, that's that.
Was it 8 o'clock?
No.
7:44, it's coming up on 7:45. So I don't know what we do with these,
Yeah, I don't.
if we have
either.
somebody.
We'll just leave them right there and.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Last time I made
that information, the higher
I don't know
amount
if
to
it's still
Chris.
here.
So hopefully he'll act in the next week.
Yeah.
Complete
Because a lot of stuff, if you organize it, you can put it away right away. It's, you don't need to have that.
in here.
But again, we don't have access to this building during the week, that's the problem.
And I would prefer all that in a PDF format electronically,
I know.
and then download it into whatever
No,
Database.
database that IT will tell us where to deposit it, or,
Yeah.
put it
Yeah.
to repose somewhere. So,
Oh, do we have any meetings to approve?
minutes,
No, we don't have
you
any.
do not.
Because
7:45.
Type them up, or we have to type them up?
Someone has to type them up, but no one has time.
See, I used to do them right while we were having the meeting. So you haven't been doing that. All right, so next meeting, I
I've
will
been
do
taking
that.
notes and stuff, but I
Yeah.
haven't had time to actually go through
Yeah,
it
So
and
when-
write
It's
it
a lot
up
of work,
nicely.
it's a lot of work.
Well, what I do is, I used to modify that. That's all I did.
That's what I would do too, but the problem is she doesn't send me the Word format. She sends me a PDF. So then I spend forever trying to get it converted
You can't-
into Word, and then I have to reformat it because it gets all skewed.
What you could do, if it's printed to PDF, you can copy paste, if it allows you to copy it,
Yes, but
Then
it makes
paste
it
it.
all crazy.
right, paste it
So-
into a notepad. Then
No,
from the
I-
You
notepad
can't
out.
revert it, or,
It's
Ethan?
just, you lose this format completely and it becomes a disaster no matter what. I've tried every method and it's just like.
Because the
Copy,
computer we used
send her
to
an
do it
email.
on wasn't a
Send-
problem.
About just doing it in
I don't know if it was that one.
She used to
Word.
always send it in Word.
Usually sends it.
Oh.
She doesn't send it in Word anymore.
So
All
we
right,
need
guys.
to tell her that.
PDF.
So
7:46.
we need to tell her that, yes. send it.
Well, I
All right.
I always have to.
Let me just read this in real quick. 7:45, Munson Ridge DEP land donation discussion, continuation. 7:45, notice intent filed by Mike POPC Development LLC for proposed construction of a residential subdivision and associated stormwater management structures. The roadway will require a wetland fill and open channel crossing with regards to property located at Carver Street, known as map 16B, 15.4, and 16 in the town of Granby. I don't see the developer or his engineer here, so we'll make a motion to continue to 7:45.
On
May 14th, I think it
May
was.
14th.
7:45.
Oh, hi Cynthia, how are you? Good to see you. I thought you retired.
I was going to.
Oh, they kept you on, that's good. That's great.
Actually, on Saturdays.
Oh, really? Oh. Well, maybe you can celebrate by doing water chestnuts on Forge.
I don't know if that's a celebration. You're on for 8 o'clock. I don't think that's a public hearing. It's,
Yeah, let's go
we can go early.
let's do it.
So our 7:45 is not here. If we want to start early, so we can get home early, if you want to tell us what, I guess, we know what you're trying to do, but, you know, what the next steps are from, I guess, your
Do you have a successor?
successor in name or?
So I have, nobody at the refuge will be able to take over
Okay.
because
It's not in the budget.
it's not refilling my position.
Okay.
So, I've been looking for people to steward individual sites where we've been working. We've been working in 13 different towns, but it's 10 that I've been actually more recently been in charge of, and 20 sites. And what I've been doing is talking with all the conservation commissions, and you're the only one that I've actually come to in person, except for last year I visited with a couple. And almost all the other ones have agreed that they would do the RDA part of it in order to pave the way for the stewards to actually do the groundwork, and that takes a big burden off of them. Because what I was afraid of was that if we didn't set up something like that, that it would just scare off anybody who was willing to do the work. Because this is so foreign to a lot of people. We have all these forms and all the leaves and everything. So that has taken a big load off my
Ooh,
shoulders.
I was just thinking about the dam removal and what impact that would have if there's the pond's full of water chestnuts. The migration downstream.
I mean, it's already moving downstream if you have it in a water body.
It'll find its way,
It
yeah.
moves down, not so much up.
Yeah, it would be going downstream.
Well,
Without the dam there, I think
So,
probably.
did you file for RDA last time you did
Yes.
eradication? We can do that in-house, that's easy enough to take.
It's a fillable PDF form.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of changing dates.
Yeah.
And I've got documents that tell the protocol, the state, the DEP and DCR's standard operating procedures. I could make available the work description from the last one, and that would give you, what I did with those was I kind of made them into a report so that you'd know what was going on and all the details for it, but you don't have to get that. I know that the commissions who've been doing their own RDAs haven't been getting that detail, but what I think is a good idea is to have all the information here residing with the commission so that any stewards that came to you
Just give it to-
that
right.
wanted to work on it, and I know that Dorian and her Aubrey are interested in at least that big cove, the biggest cove that parallels the Forge Pond
Sure.
Road. And then Heather Rule's been working on it for longer than we have, probably 17 or 18 years. So it's been just a few people that are local, and then we've been bringing in our youth crew and bringing in volunteers from the greater community. But I know that you guys were hoping to check with other.
How about the scouts? Did you check with the Girl Scouts or the Boy Scouts? Because we had an Eagle Scout last year that was looking for a candidate project. And this would have been a good project for them.
Well, that might be something that you guys would want to try.
Yeah, they could reach out every time they,
It just becomes a safety issue because you're on water.
Oh, of course.
So when you're working with a bunch of children, it's.
Right, yeah, we've limited it to 14 years of age, and we've had new regulations with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service that we had to provide training to begin the event, and then there was videos that everybody had to watch, just so everyone was kind of coming in with a basic understanding of canoe safety.
Good.
But I know the scouts, when you say the scouts, I think that could be a really good idea, especially if you're talking about eagle age, because if they have the capacity to come on the water with canoes.
Yeah, we had a young man come in last year, terrific fellow, Ian Wow, and he came in with, I think, about a dozen of his colleagues, and they were all Boy Scouts. Ian was going for his Eagle Scout, he had some Life Scouts and some First Class and some others, so these are all 16 to 18-year-old
Yeah.
guys, and it was terrific. And again, the Girl Scouts would be very desirable to have as well. So that age group, they were very capable. They were cutting up logs and moving logs off the
Nice.
shore out in the water, so
Yeah.
this would have been a great project for them, son of a
Yeah.
gun.
so,
Yeah.
so you have all these procedures that are followed. Is that something that's going to be passed on to us, that we forward to these groups that want to start this? Because it becomes a liability issue too. Nobody wants to get hurt, nobody wants to see, you know, and,
Sure.
you know, I don't know how the selectmen would react to this. I'm sure they would be in favor of this, obviously, but, you know, again, nobody wants
But
to.
we took the same liability with Ian and his crew.
I understand, exactly. And we did bring that to our attention.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I know
he presented
in
to them.
the city of Westfield, we've had a site there, and they've done the RDA the whole time. And what they do is they have their own waiver, so every volunteer has to sign a waiver that just says that,
And that's something we
their
should,
own responsibility.
Right.
So that, I think that would be a good idea
right.
to do that. And what I was about to say with the scouts is I know that the scouts that canoe, they have to go through a canoe safety training, so they have good background in that normally, if they have canoes and if they go out on trips, so.
If you at least know how to swim, that's the bottom line. And
Yeah.
they're gonna have flotation devices on it as well.
And
so-
that, I mean, we've
so-
always required that,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I wonder if we can get a hold of like Mark Noonan, if he was the one that came up with the waiver up there. In conservation,
I
or
think
is that
he's
the-
in
West Springfield.
West Springfield. It
No, he was in Westfield for a while.
Oh, okay. No, it's Karen Lee
Okay.
that is the
Conservation.
conservation, I forget what her title is, but she's the staff person. And I have a copy of it too, so.
Okay.
Whatever you could provide to us, we'll
Yeah.
assemble it
Send
into,
you a whole big packet of electronic files.
That'd be
and you
perfect.
can doctor them up as you see.
I wonder if we could CC them somehow.
oh,
The
oh,
group. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. And then the other thing that's in place, and we're just kind of working this through right now, is just recently I found out that the Connecticut River Conservancy is willing to provide communications between all these entities that are trying to work on it. So conservation commissions will be kind of part of that. So what I'm hoping can happen is the conservation commissions can let CR, Connecticut River Conservancy, know when the permit's ready, and they have records of who all the stewards are that have stepped forward. So it's just a way to kind of be in the loop of the whole network that's working on it. So I actually made up some cards today
sure.
with their contact information on it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, who
Thank you.
at the Connecticut River Conservancy?
The person who's doing it.
I'm sending Ian a quick email
Form
to see if
Okay.
he has any scouts that would be interested in this.
She's somewhat new.
Okay.
She's the office person and then kind of a many
Yeah.
hats kind of person.
Okay. I worked with Katie Kennedy for a while,
Oh, okay.
so that was why I was
Yeah,
curious.
yeah. So we're actually having a meeting tomorrow of all the stewards and the cooperators who've been working on this. So if anybody is free tomorrow afternoon and want to come at all, you're welcome. to.
Where is it?
It's going to be at the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service Regional Office.
Okay.
So it's in Haddon there.
Yeah.
What time?
It's from 2 to 4.
Oh, I thought it said 5 to 6 in the email.
So the meeting
Upsetting.
of all the stewards and cooperators is
Yeah.
from 2 to 4, and then from 5 to 6, we're having a volunteer appreciation event
Okay.
that a lot of the people who are kind of organizing things will be at as well, so, you know.
Because I work out in Eastern Mass, so getting back for the afternoon is a little
Yeah.
difficult, but 5 is
Maybe doable?
exactly.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm thinking of my other hat as a Coast Guard auxiliarist, if we could help out somehow.
Ooh, yeah.
'Cause we
Okay,
have-
I just sent Ian an email.
So,
I put a feeler out to Eagle Scout to see if any other scouts would be interested, so he'll get back to me.
Thank you.
That'd be good, yep.
Are we making a dent in this invasion?
That's a good question. I mean, I wouldn't be trying to get people if I didn't see some success.
Oh, I know, but
How many
Are
years
these
have you
planes,
done
do
it
they
so
float
far?
on the surface and are they anchored to the substrate? or
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
floating?
I was kicking myself. I drove up, I went to grab my folder with the pictures and the amounts we've been taking out and everything, and where is it?
yeah, I remember finding this Springfield Country Club ponds.
I could probably just Google
Really?
it.
Yeah, that was
Really?
20 years ago.
Wow, that's one that I don't think we even know
Well,
about.
something, last summer,
Yeah.
we worked on Forge Pond, and we gathered about 800 pounds.
I think it was, yeah.
Just in
How
a-
about water
in
chestnuts
one
wrapped in
day.
bacon?
nice.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
what-
no, I told a bunch of people about it because I was flagging the wetlands there. And I was like, this is dangerous, we're right.
Springfield Country Club, huh?
Yep.
So after you pull them, what happens? Are they just composted or are they burnt or how?
Yeah, and that's something that you should decide here, where you want these to go. What we've been doing is, some of them get hauled up on the shore, away from the water, and most of them go back to our refuge land, where we just have this big compost pile. But I think it's safe.
Is that still an option?
That's a good question. I haven't really checked into that, because I think everybody was kind of figuring out where within their town they could do it.
I mean, if they're
I can
composted
find out for you.
away from a water body, it should be.
Right.
I don't know how
But
the mechanism.
seeds are
Well, the
just
seeds.
spiky.
Oh, okay.
They
They're these
float,
hard,
okay.
spiky things.
Here's the, this
So
is
I don't know
from,
how they
this
take
is
it
from
right down.
Maine
Yeah.
DEP. Does this
I've
look
done that.
familiar? I
Yeah,
don't know if you can
that's-
see those.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't think
I've done
it
the
doesn't go
proposal
into the
for it.
soil, does it?
Actually,
Just
there are little roots, they look,
Okay, so-
but the roots float
Floats,
within the,
you're right.
yeah.
Yeah, and when you pull them out, lots of times there's still more roots down there, and it'll keep
Regenerate.
going.
Yeah.
And they drop the seeds, and then the seeds last for several
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so this
Because
is,
I have to teach them
That's
this
the
is what the
seed.
seed looks
Okay.
like, and
Next
it
week.
grows on the bottom of the
yeah.
rosette
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And this is long, and there's
Yeah.
many rosettes on a plant, and it can grow up to 16 feet of water, so literally the whole Forge Pond is
Cool.
vulnerable,
Yeah.
and it's growing in every little part of Forge Pond. Forge Pond, I must admit, has been the toughest site for
Is that-
in the hand pulling
Yeah.
arena, because it just is, little patches here, there, and everywhere.
Mhm.
And it's been one of the toughest ones to actually bring down to a level that's really, really manageable. Like some
Manageable, yeah.
sites are are really manageable now.
Yeah.
I have a graph that shows Arcadia Sanctuary in East Hampton, and what they found there is they took out 2,500 pounds the first year, and that was back in the 90s, and then it went down, 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 down until, I can't remember what year it was, maybe 2009, and it spiked up a little bit, and so they decided there that, okay, let's, instead of just going out once a year like we've been doing, let's do it at least twice. And so they've been doing that, and they've got it down now, so it's like 20 pounds, 40 pounds a year.
That's good.
Forge Pond is difficult because there's so many inlets
Sure.
and coves and other
Wet
plants
areas
that
that are-
might come.
yeah.
Didn't Holyoke have a big initiative years ago? They bought some big machinery in, didn't they, to
That's
harvest
still
it?
going on, that's
Is it?
another really
That's a
tough
huge,
site.
huge
It's-
bit of equipment. They
yeah.
have this big, it looks like a big hay
Paddle wheel?
baler, yeah, it's
Okay.
like a big
Yeah.
baler, and they just
Oh,
go
yeah.
through the water. It's pretty amazing. Could we use
Yeah.
a piece of gear like that here? Or?
You know, it's scattered enough, but I don't think they'd be worth the expense, and in Holyoke, we stopped using the big mechanical harvesters because it was so expensive, and it takes a lot of onshore handling too. So we went to herbicide there, and that wasn't very effective, so now we're back to a different kind of mechanical means. So we're just trying out different things, and it's been a big pain, but these sites, especially where we've been getting out early, and that's what I'm suggesting, is get it out like in June and do a complete pulp in June, when these rosettes at that point are only this big, and especially early, and you can pluck out the whole plant, it hasn't sent out more branches and more rosettes, and of course, they're very compact then, so you can put them all in one big
Can you harvest,
basket.
but the water chestnuts, they're not ripe, so you couldn't sell them as foodstuffs at that point?
Yeah.
Because I saw a lot of recipes for water chestnuts on the internet.
Yeah, but it might have been the water chestnut like you get in your Chinese food.
It looked like a brown one, it looked like a brown water chestnut.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Funny.
again,
Heather was actually wanting to go out earlier, like the second week of May, I think she was saying.
Yeah, I did see that, yeah, so it sounds
So
like
earlier
she's,
than that, we want to try to do it several times during the course of the summer.
yeah, that's what it takes is
So
to go out not just once,
if-
because they're still working their way up in the water column in early June, late May, and so you'll find more of them later June.
there's talk of starting something in May.
Yes.
Does the RDA we have last time, does that cover this period? It's a 3-year,
It's a 3-year, and that's a good question. I think it expires sometime in May
okay.
This year.
Of this
So-
year. Yeah, because it was 16, 17, 18, but it started, let's see. So if it started May of 16, May of 17, 18, May of 19.
yeah, it might squeak in.
You might be able to squeak in.
But they're gonna wanna continue in the summer, so we need to get that RDA filed.
And the other thing we have done, when we're kind of in a tight time period like this, is we checked with DEP one year when we realized, oh my gosh, things are expiring. We
Sure.
didn't realize. And they suggested we do an emergency certification, you might remember that.
Yep, yeah.
So that gets you by 30 days.
I see, and then you just come in with the RDA within that 30 days.
What's that?
You come in with the RDA and within that 30-day
Yeah,
period.
you file after the fact. I'm just wondering if Dory has 6 people, say one day, say 6-hour day on the weekend, 6 people, how much can you actually harvest? Can you get quite a bit done?
Oh, yeah, you can do a lot.
The last time we had about 6 people, I think.
So that was,
We
that was
did-
in August.
Yeah, and we did only about 4 hours, I think, 4 or 5 hours.
And how many pounds did you harvest?
800.
Wow, that's pretty
And that
good.
was, these things were huge at that point.
Right,
So
right.
it really was a lot,
It was
of
a lot.
volume.
Right.
This
So it's easier to get it when there's fresh.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
When
so
they
you,
start.
so you went out with canoes, did you have a skiff that you tied to throw them into the skiff or something, or?
We just used our canoes and our.
Oh, you just threw 'em in the
and our
canoe?
buckets and,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
just fill the bucket baskets.
Fun trick, if you use laundry baskets, like the round ones, and you put noodles around them,
Mhm.
they float and you can,
Good point.
it's really, really helpful. As long as the holes are small enough that the
Yeah.
seeds won't fall out.
And did you attach those?
I haven't actually used them. I've used them for mussels. I used to work at the Fish and Wildlife, the one in Sunderland. So the old salmon station. I was working on the mussel project, and that was something they did for holding their mussels.
Huh.
And it's just really convenient because it floats on top of the water, but it stays submerged.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a lot less weight to carry around.
People were walking in the water.
It was just to store them out in one of the old raceways and stuff when they weren't being used.
Yeah.
So they had the fresh water coming through.
Neat.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's a worthwhile project.
yeah, I think it's something that, I think the conservation will support. I think we can handle the RDA side, because it's really just changing dates and possibly some names, some contact names. I think if we just get that in a fillable PDF format and just save it.
And we
and
could
just-
probably do the training, something like that here, right? If there's a
We should-
video or something?
You could probably, yeah, we could probably put that out there if you want to do a training. And then, I'm assuming that your group has been trained in the
Yes.
past.
What we could do is if we could have a place where all that information is stored, we could make sure people access that and then
Sign up,
accessing
exactly.
it, and then either give it to you if you need it or keep it on our records or something like that.
We would probably get copies here and just keep them in a folder. And we'll continue that folder under
We'll
Forge
just get a
Pond.
file. We should have
Exactly.
a cabinet file.
Forge Pond.
for all of it.
And there will be a few videos as well to watch for anybody new.
Right.
Yeah, there's canoe safety videos that I can make available, and then trying to think of something that would actually teach people the protocol. I know I've done a webinar or two that would be outdated as far as some of the technical.
You should do a YouTube video on it.
Yeah, that's kind of what this is,
Yeah.
but it gave it probably way too much information for someone who just wants to come and help pull for a day. But we do have, remember my little book?
Yes, I still have it.
Good, so I did give you one. Good, so we have these binders that have just full-size pictures, and there's a PowerPoint presentation inside that just kind of goes through the procedure and how we usually did it. So that's something that people could browse if it was in a central place, and that could be used, we just used it out in the field, so the first day people would come, and it would be like a storybook, you know, you would show pictures.
Yeah.
Well, if I hear positively from.
Because in
Boy
the
Scouts,
waiver,
I'll
you should have
forward
something
the
that
email
you've done
to
the
you,
video
Sure.
for canoeing and the pulling book or
Well-
something.
I'm assuming that last time this was done, the selectmen have been, updated with this. I'm pretty sure I mean, it's, like you said, it's a good project. It's something that's an invasive species that needs to be controlled, so. I just look at the liability side just to make sure everybody's notified, waivers are signed, they're properly instructed on safety, whether it's canoe or waders.
As long as you could swim, that's kind of the most important.
If it means you gotta wear a life vest, then you wear a
still have
life
to wear
vest.
the life
Oh,
vest.
exactly.
But I wouldn't want anyone out there with a life jacket that couldn't swim. That's not a good combination.
No. So, but
So,
how deep is Forge Pond in those areas? It's not that deep.
Well, it depends. Near the dam, it's about.
Pretty deep, yeah, that's deep.
But elsewhere, it's like 2.5 to 4 feet
you
deep.
know, you have to know how to swim at kind of a basic, and then you might want to set a age limit.
That's what I would say. If you can't swim, you can't participate. That's just common sense,
Or at least participate in the water.
you know.
There's always something for somebody to do.
Yeah,
If they're not
somebody
comfortable-
can be hauling the stuff
Right.
to the truck or
If they're
whatever.
not
It's like
comfortable,
parents with their,
right.
relatively older children.
It made a huge difference when Dory and Aubrey just made their end of the lake accessible.
Sure.
To be able to offload onto the docks and everything, because
Yeah.
we've been paddling everything back to School Street, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of energy, yeah.
Especially when you've got
Oh, yes.
heaps and heaps.
Yeah.
of-
Yeah. And you can only fit so much on there and.
Right, yeah.
And if there's other places on the shore that people will let you use, that would be good.
Yeah,
that would,
maybe you
you know.
can find more people
30 to 40 people in it right now, so and many of them are owners, property owners around the pond, and it's tributary, so.
Great,
There's a lot of people right now.
yeah, that's super.
So you'll provide us that information as soon as you can, just email it to either Kathy or myself, Bill or Amanda or Wenda.
And
Just-
how will we know when the forms are ready, or when we're okay to do it?
I guess send us the RDA, we should have that here,
We
Larry.
should have one
Well,
somewhere.
it would be on Casey's computer, that's the problem.
Well, it's that
Pass
computer.
along
Would it be on the
It's not
paper.
Casey's.
Could you all put down your email addresses for me? And-
Sure.
And if,
I think I have yours, because you were corresponding with me.
Okay. Would you be able to let me know when it's approved and everything?
The RDA?
Whatever it is we need to be able to say we can go out.
So when did our next meeting is when, the 14th?
May 14th, we should have that
So
filled
that
out.
means we're gonna have to advertise, so instruct Kathy to advertise for this next meeting, and we'll just do an RDA next meeting.
So we need to put it on the agenda.
It's gonna be actually a negative, I think it's gonna be a -2, because it's in a resource area, but it will not impact the resource area, so it'll be a -2 we'll be issuing.
I mean, we should probably just copy it with whatever
Yeah,
it
that's
said.
I'm
Whatever we
sure.
previously did,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, but again, if we could find it, we may not be able to find the old file.
I can send that, if you're talking about the old RDA.
Yeah, I might actually have, let me just look
June 23rd, 2015, a request for emergency water chestnut removal was sent by you. So if the RDA followed that, you're looking at, well, that's 2015.
15?
2015 was the emergency one. Let's see,
Seems like I did most of it.
2016 was another one.
Really? That was the last one, the 2016 event. That would be the one that we have.
So the question is, what's the
Yeah,
date
let me
on it?
see. I've got 9/27/16.
Yeah,
Let me take a look if it's on that. Though I think you would have done that in the spring.
Yeah, it seems.
I've got the date right here. Here it is right here.
I think I found the RDA.
You got it?
I think so. What is this one from? Yeah, from 2016.
May 10th,
Did we
2016.
file -2?
It is. Yep, -2.
On the, so that would be the 10th of May? So it would expire the 10th?
15th. Oh, never mind. That was the day it was filed. Let me see what day it was approved, maybe?
It probably was approved the same night,
It was approved 5/10, yeah.
yeah.
So can we edit that? Can you do a save as?
Well, we still have to know, you still have to put it out in the public.
Right.
Yeah, but
I
at
mean, I
least
can
if you
also
do the
just
paperwork now,
copy all these
We're done with the
details.
paperwork.
Okay.
you can do it in 2 seconds.
And so we'll be the applicants now, though.
That's right.
Is that,
That's
okay.
exactly right.
Is that not a conflict?
I'm gonna
of
forward
interest
this to,
apply and approve our own permit?
I don't know.
Does that have just the form, what you have there, or did it have the long work description? that-
I have, just the form.
Okay. Cause I had a different file that I had attached with the work description. And I
Okay.
could send it and say, but like I said, it has more information than you care to have in it, but.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to have it on our files, but at least I have this as a reference.
Yeah, that's great. Boy, you guys are organized.
Yeah.
Could be better.
Yeah.
So would one of you like to be like the contact on this for like?
Ah, me. Not
I
me.
nominated Amanda, but she's soon gonna be our assistant.
Well, yeah.
Potentially, yeah.
I just know that I am overwhelmed. My husband passed away, so I'm dealing with the estate and everything and all that fun stuff, so.
We'll play, we'll
I don't
figure
know.
something out.
We'll figure out
We'll
something.
figure something out. But if you wanna just email us all and
Yeah.
we'll,
Yeah, so it's something going around to put your email address in.
yeah, let me, I just
There,
sent out,
sticky note.
If you could tell me what your names are, just so I,
sure.
are you Bill?
No, I'm Edward Chapdelaine.
No, I'm
Bill
Bill.
Shaheen.
You've been emailing me, yes.
You're the one
Yes,
that
of course, yes.
talking to on the phone.
Yes.
That's Wendell Love
Wendell.
and Amanda
Amanda
Smith.
Wendell.
I'm gonna forward this to you. I found the old advertisement. So, what's your email? Is it,
CYM.
I was hoping I had a card on it.
I got it. fws.gov?
Yep.
There it goes. It's the old advertisement for the original, May, in 2016. The advertisement for the RDA, so it has our emails.
Yeah, my friend's in charge of invasive species from out of DC.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she came out and was your director for like 6 months. When you had, Sue Jewell? When you were having interim directors for a while, like 5 years ago? But she's in charge of invasive species regulations
For the US?
for the US. Oh, yeah.
How about the Chinese carp going up the Mississippi River?
Yeah.
Thank goodness we
She's
don't
doing
have
research right now about what they've stopped coming in and if it's worked.
Wow.
And looking at what species they wrote stuff to protect, if they really succeed in keeping out of the country. And she says it looks good. Yeah.
Then in Florida, you got those pythons, you've got the snakes.
Yeah, she just wrote some.
You know, we're actually pretty
stuff.
lucky. We have some invasives, but they're more of a nuisance. But when you have those jumping carp in the Mississippi and you have the pythons in Florida, that's big time problems.
Well, we
Yeah.
have the zebra mussels, don't we?
Well,
They-
yeah, but I think
I
they're
haven't
more or
seen a
less.
whole lot of them.
Are they under control of zebra mussels, more or less?
I haven't really seen any of them when I've been on the river.
But like, we're doing the safe boating class for the Coast Guard, and I have to do invasive species that week, so.
Because, yeah, you transport a boat from one water body
Well, you
to
gotta
Yeah,
scrub the
it's
hull
all
down.
about cleaning it
Yeah, you
and
gotta
away
scrub it
from the boat ramp so it
Right,
doesn't go
right,
back.
That's right.
And
that's
Quabbin has your own inspection. You have to go and get your boat inspected
You
and get a
can't-
special sticker. You can only go there.
That's right.
What do you have to use, trisodium phosphate? What do they use for a compound for scrubbing the hull down?
I don't know.
Or bleach or something?
But there's
Toothbrush and
Huh? Yeah,
Toothbrush and,
Toothbrush.
some baking soda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna
It's
say,
all
like, some
about
vinegar and
using,
baking
only
soda.
buying what you need and not, and, using natural stuff like vinegar and
Oh.
Baking
baking
soda.
soda and stuff versus other
That
stuff.
TSP is pretty strong.
No throwing trash and all this stuff.
So, we'll get that process start and, we'll send it to, Kathy to
When's
advertise.
our next meeting? Is it 3 weeks or 2 weeks?
May 14th.
Well, it's
So if we get this
2 weeks.
in to advertise, we can be on the next, it could be on the next
Yeah, we got
agenda.
a 3-week window.
So we gotta,
so
how do we get a message to Kathy that this gets done?
Amanda can send her a message right
Can
now.
you email her, the old, actually, I can,
I would suggest that send her
hold on.
all those files.
I only have the old RDA.
I'm gonna take care of this by forwarding it to her and just telling,
Do you have the RDA Form 1 or the Form 2, or both?
Let me just check.
Probably the Form 2. That's the one we issued. Which is okay, we really don't need the Form 1.
So they're not filling your position.
So, I hope I can.
Yes, I have.
I know there was a position up there
Form two.
recently.
If they are able to fill it, it probably won't be focused on invasives like it is now. That'd probably be one small component, so the
Yeah.
water testing is just too big of a
Yeah.
project to
What
combine.
were the other plants that tend to pop up after you pull out the water chestnuts? I don't know if it's in Forge Pond, but do you know which one I'm talking about?
There's a lot of
It's kind of like long,
duckweed out there.
stringy ones that kind of tend to, once you pull out all the water chestnuts, it opens up
The
the
light,
space for this other invasive plant to come and take over. I can't remember what it was called.
What's your take on duckweed?
Yeah, duckweed was good.
Is it okay in your eyes?
I don't really have an opinion, I know it's used for food.
It's difficult to remove too, I know
Is
that.
it?
but you put a note in your stuff
Phosphorus.
about Springfield Country Club.
Yeah,
It's-
so,
It's on that cross street. You go up the road from the cinemas and then go across, and it was in their ponds, and that was 20 years ago.
right.
Because whenever I did the Hanush subdivision over there, it has to be 20 years since
That
I've
would
worked
be
with.
called Wyckoff Country Club, I think, so.
That's
No,
in Holyoke.
nope.
That's in the north end of Holyoke.
Okay.
No, this was Springfield.
Actually, there are a couple other things we should probably talk about. Remember the time I came in and asked about the airboat using the?
Oh, yes, I was gonna ask you about that. How did that work?
It actually worked.
Really?
It worked pretty well for what we were doing, which was, I don't know if I ever told you about that. We had the refuge has an airboat, and we brought it out just at the end of the season to quickly cover the pond and see if we could find any stragglers, and we did, and got them. It wasn't easy because you have to lean way over this really tall boat. But just motors in general, like, there's enough water chestnut out in Forge Pond, but I don't think that motors are typically allowed.
I think there's a 5 horsepower limit, or it could actually even be less up there, if that.
Would that be something that could be used, say they found a cooperator that would be willing to shuttle plants from the canoeist to the shore?
Yeah, if you could have a high-speed shuttle, i.e. an airboat or something with a bigger engine, I think we could allow that on a case-by-case basis. of
Yeah,
course.
and I don't think you'd ever get
Yeah.
an airboat out there again, just because it's booked for other things, but if you have, somebody else that wants to help and they just have a regular boat, there is a role for them.
Good, thank you.
There's one other thing.
See if somebody has a dump truck.
Yeah.
And like one of those farmers' fields, maybe one of the farmers' fields next to Forge Pond will let you dump them in a corner.
Actually, there was someone
Someone
who
did,
did
yeah,
like a slash water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under Jamaican water, we dumped a bunch last year.
Yeah. The other thing we had kind of talked about, Heather and I, was there's so many people that use that pond for fishing and just kayaking. And we thought, I wonder if any of those folks would like to help.
If we put some signs out there, laminated signs, if you see these, pull them and
Yeah.
take them to land.
Would you be okay with that? Because I have these little cards that tell how to pull, so really specific directions on how to pull. If,
Sure.
if those were kind of left and then people would replace them after.
I think so, you guys, I think it'd be a fun.
Yeah, I think it would be a good thing.
Mm. At the boat ramp somehow.
Yeah. Well, it would be easier if we had like a kiosk there where
Yeah.
you could have some information and stuff.
Mm.
And like, and if they don't wanna physically do it themselves, maybe let someone know, where on the pond they saw it, so that, just to track it a little bit better.
So I know that Heather puts a lot of the plants she pulls out near the School Street launch, but back, into the woods a little ways, and she's never had trouble with them getting washed back in. She says she's never seen that flood in there at all. So if there was a way to, if people were instructed that they could pull when they were just out there fishing, they need to know where they should put them.
Yeah.
So that could be kind of marked. or
Maybe a sign,
something.
yeah.
Heather puts in so much of her own time.
Oh my gosh.
She's amazing.
She is
She's
amazing.
She-
I don't know how she's kept at it this long, really. Yeah.
So I sent you an email with the old advertisement and Kathy, and a note to Kathy Leonard too, so
Yes.
if we can just get it advertised, then we're legitimately could sign up on it next meeting.
Yeah.
Sound like a plan?
Indeed, I think we're
So you
good.
sent it for her to to do her.
Well, I sent her the advertisement we did last time, but obviously we have to update all the names and dates. So once that's updated, the application, we can just send it to her. Tell her we're gonna waive the filing fee on that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure,
We're gonna pay ourselves, that's
I
ridiculous.
understand, no. No, but I think there's advertisement, we're gonna probably have to pay for the advertisement, but that's not a problem, so. Okay? So I think we're all set here unless you guys have any questions or comments or
No, just, you'll be looking at this on the next.
14th.
14th.
Okay, and so should somebody from us be here?
If you want to come, yeah, that'd be fine. We'll at least get the paperwork filed and then talk about,
Because you should have a copy if you guys are gonna run it.
right.
Right, okay, and then maybe talk about, you should be able to talk about how we can access the videos and things that you want us and
Well,
liability.
yeah, we're hoping that Cynthia will send us all that paperwork electronically, whatever videos or links. And then we'll assemble a folder, either paper copies or electronic copies that we can email out.
Okay,
And hopefully everybody will be, safe and on board.
Because you could probably maybe you could send the link to the videos, somebody who's good with computers.
They're really easy links to.
Yeah, usually click on it, it just opens up.
We just send the links to everybody who volunteered.
We'll need to talk about waivers and stuff like that, if you're gonna be in charge, or whoever's in charge, just the paperwork, and then go from there. As long as we have accountability for somebody's safety, paperwork, and waivers, and
Do
I
the
think it's a
waivers have
good-
thing that says that people watch the safety video?
We can add that.
Yeah, I would, yeah,
Just so you know,
have a
like,
line for
'cause just 'cause you send
initially.
it to them doesn't mean that they did it, but at least if they say,
Watch
they did it, it
video,
kind of covers
looked at the
everything.
procedure, and
Yeah.
put their initials. You know.
And it sounds like the group that's been there in the past, I'm sure it's the same people, you might have a couple new people, so
Hopefully
it's,
new people.
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
you'll have a lot of different people, because it was, what happened last year was, we got rained out on the day when
yeah.
we needed a lot of people, so we had to postpone it, and then it wasn't a good day for a lot of folks, so. we
Way
had-
it happens sometimes.
Yeah. So, anyway, a lot of people became fresh.
All right.
Okay, good show, everybody. Well, hopefully we'll get you some more volunteers.
Thanks, Cynthia, and
Appreciate you.
enjoy your retirement.
Yeah, enjoy retirement.
I'll still be out holding water chestnut as a volunteer.
Can't get enough of it, right?
Was that the sticky note with the
That
email
was the sticky
addresses?
note,
I emailed her.
Oh, okay.
okay.
Cynthia, I emailed you the old filing, but this is the email. I've also added their emails and CC'd everybody, so
Oh, good.
you should have, just careful with the cord. You should have everybody's email. Just email everybody out and we'll go from there.
Where do we put?
So I make a motion to adjourn.
Put on the agenda that
All in
we-
favor? Aye.
I